Joining us now on Pulse of the Maggots, you just heard Set Your Sails, and now vocalist Jules is joining us on the program. Welcome to Pulse of the Maggots, Jules. How are you doing today?
Hey man, I'm great. I was looking forward to this. So thank you guys so much for having us. This is a
Yeah,
big honor.
Yeah, absolutely. We've played you on the channel a couple times. We were just talking about that. And we mentioned it at the top of the program, but in case anyone's not aware, y'all have a brand new album coming out here in just a couple of days, Nightfall. Second album, first since 2018. So I'm curious on what your journey has been like since recording and dropping your debut and then now doing this. Obviously, there have been some world events going on. But I guess like aside from all of that, if possible, what's been the journey like from wrapping up your previous album and starting the process of doing this one?
Oh man, I would say a lot of things because I mean, to be honest, the first record isn't something that we're really proud of because
Mm.
I'd say it was just like recording demos and throwing it out there so we're able to play shows. And for Nightfall, we actually took some time and went to the studio and talked to producers, and they helped us out to make the songs sound better at the end of the day. And yeah, we did that. We went to the studio, recorded the song, the album, and then we shot a lot of music videos. There's more coming up. And yeah, we did a lot of press stuff, and yeah, we're really stoked because actually we're sitting with the record for over a year now.
Mm.
So we're really stoked to finally release it.
And that was going to be a question that I had because I know we've chatted with a lot of bands on this program and others that have, the record was done in 2019, but because of the pandemic and everything got held up. So it sounds like that was kind of along the lines of what happened with y'all. So like, what's it been like sitting on the songs for a little bit, knowing that you're about ready to release them, but just the timing hasn't lined up yet?
Torture, man. It's like I mean, as I already said, the first record isn't really something that we're proud of. So
Mhm.
actually, when we finished the record, Nightfall, we were so proud of it and ready to show the world that we sound different now. And yeah, it was just torture. Like you have it, and you just have to hold it back because of COVID, because we weren't able to jump on tour,
Mhm.
and releasing a record without being able to tour isn't a good idea, especially for such a small band. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it was just like torture.
Corey, I have a follow up question. Then Corey, I'll let you bump in because so you mentioned that your 2018 albums. So you said a couple times you guys aren't too proud of it. You guys have moved on and you've grown since then. And I wrote down in as part of like prepping and everything like that. But like to my ears at least, you can really hear that the step up and like the difference from the previous album to the single. I haven't heard the full album yet. I've heard the singles that you guys have released, but even in just those ones, you could hear a difference. So I'm curious as far as like what like because you've talked about how much work that you guys have put in like the videos and the time spent writing and everything like that. Even like beyond that, what were your goals to when trying to write this follow-up to your debut? Like when you started, like how did they change, how did they come about? Do you feel like you met them? I'm curious where it was where you were at then versus now.
Ah, that's a tough question. I mean, we didn't really sit down on purpose saying that we want to sound like this or that, or the record's gonna be like this. And I guess we just really started writing Nightfall while we were, I guess, on the road back in 2019. So, you know, um, I'd say that we actually took some time to actually be honest about ourselves because um, you know it's a lot more melodic, I'd say, and diverse. I mean, you already said that you didn't listen to the whole record, but
Mhm.
once you did that, you'd notice that every song is different, and there's songs that are really brutal and fast, and then there's songs that are very soft and slightly different from the rest. Um, and I don't know, we were just really honest with ourselves, and I just wanted to go a little bit more melodic. And Andre, our guitarist, who's also the songwriter for SETYOURSAILS, is into really heavy music. You know, he's the metal guy, so he just wanted the songs to be more like, you know, shredding the guitars and some metal stuff, and I wanted it to sound a little bit more melodic. And as I already said, we took some time to actually work it out and talk to producers, and I guess that's also one of the reasons why it sounds so different from the first one.
Hell yeah. Cori, I'm going to let you jump in with your question or
Oh yeah, of
questions.
course. Questions. So since you did kind of go a different way with this album, and you said you've incorporated a lot more styles, what were your biggest influences and areas that you were really looking toward for inspiration for this album that are different from the first album, which, as somebody pointed out in the chat, is still extremely good. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Biggest inspirations. I still go with Paramore, because Paramore, I stick with Paramore since day one, and they've had the biggest influence on me, definitely. Um, so I'm really into these melodic, poppy kind of choruses, and I really wanted to have that on Nightfall. And I guess Andre's influences are bands like Korn and I don't know, I Prevail, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, and I really think that you can hear it, because the verses, for the most part, are very heavy, you know, and then the choruses are they're opening up and they're very melodic. Um, and yeah, I'd go with Paramore, and then Andre would probably go with Korn and I Prevail.
Awesome. And as you were kind of exploring your sound and incorporating new things on this album, did you find yourself more excited or more like kind of uncomfortable in stretching your legs and like pushing new boundaries? Or was it like a mix of both?
No, it was just all positive, because, now we feel like we finally found our sound, and this is how Set Your Sails actually sounds like. I mean, when we wrote Enough, we only knew each other for half a year, and we didn't know how the other person is actually working, you know. We just basically sat together and just passed the guitar to one another, and then we recorded something and it was done, you know. We didn't really think about anything. And then with Nightfall, I'd say we really, you know, I mean, I already said we didn't really sit down on purpose saying that we want to sound like a specific band or style or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, but being brave about going a little bit deeper and jumping into softer songs and melodies isn't necessarily something negative, and we learned to be brave about it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm very, very comfortable with it, because you know what, it's completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
This song is the most personal, this album is the most personal and honestly written thing that I've ever did. So yeah.
It definitely comes through with like the passion and the conviction in your vocals. It's something that we've pointed out with both of your videos as we're watching them, is it's just like it's very apparent how much of yourself you're throwing into the lyrics. It's not a passive moment at all. You're putting it all in there, and it's wonderful to watch.
Thanks. Yeah, man, I said this a couple times. I was a little scared of releasing a couple songs, because they are so honestly written. Um, and the lyrics are really, really deep and personal. They're pretty much about my struggle with depression. And yeah, it's a lot of emotions, because it's my history, it's my story. And I have to go through it and live through it every time I have to perform the song. Um, so there's a lot of emotions to it, definitely. Yeah.
And do you find that that process was like really cathartic for you? That it was a like a release and coming to peace with the struggles with depression, or
Yeah, yeah. I always called her writing sessions self-therapy sessions
Mhm.
because that's pretty much what it was, you know.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like when a song was done, such as Secrets or Why, I sat down and I read it and I was like, where did that come from? You know, it was like someone else wrote it and gave it to me, and I felt so understood for the first time. Because I'm very bad at verbalizing my problems with friends. So yeah, it's you know it depends on my mood. If I'm
Mhm.
in a very bad state, then it really hits me. But for the most part, I'd say that it's a part of my healing process, having to live through it every time I have to perform it. So
Mhm.
it it's a release, yeah, and it's a part of my history, and it's a part of the healing process. So yeah.
I'll shut up and let John ask a question now.
No, that's fine. I always enjoyed the conversation because I was also like had questions about like the lyrics and the uncompromising nature of that. And Jules, I mean, you pretty much answered every question that I had, and you know this
For once, I stole your questions.
you do this all the
Awesome.
we do this all the time. We steal each other's questions all the time. No, but like I think that that's a like really healthy, and b like real like it's really great to hear that this is helping you through your healing process and your journey, because at the end of the day, right, like no bullshit, that's what all of it's supposed to be about, whether you're listening to music and getting that release, or you yourself writing that and looking back and be like, I have no idea, like would this have even come out if I wasn't doing this, channeling it through music or anything like that. You know what I mean? So that kind of
Yeah.
gets me back. So the question I have is kind of a dumb one, right? Because we've been seeing on social media all the 10-year challenges and the 10-year photos of like how you guys have been. I mean, you, Jules, have already been through a journey with the band, and it is, I mean, literally, it's still just starting and getting ramped up. But I'm curious that where you're at now versus where you were at 10 years ago. What type of advice would you give? 2012 Jules, as far as the journey she's about to go on and the lessons that that you would like to impart to her.
Man, um,
I said it was going to be a relaxing interview, and then I'm just throwing
I
all these ridiculous, like, vague questions at you. I'm sorry.
it's so good, man. That's I really have to think about this because I'd say be honest with yourself, you know, and be honest with the lyrics, and be brave enough to write it down. Because as I already said, I was really struggling with releasing certain songs. But at the end of the day, um, the songs that I listened to in my teenage years were that really helped me through all this bullshit that happened in my teenage years, were the songs that were written honestly and about the topics I was going through myself. So it is very, very important, if not for me, then probably for one person out there who's struggling with the same problems, to be honest about it and to write it down, because this is what actually matters most. And you know what? What's the point of making music if you're not honest about yourself and not, don't really mean what you're saying? You know, it doesn't make sense in the first place. So I'd give the advice to myself to be honest about myself and be brave enough to write the lyrics that stick in my head, or sticked in my head for a very long time. Um, and just go for it. You know, don't let anything and anyone get in your way. If you want to make music, if you want to play drums, if you want to play piano or sing or do whatever you want, just go out and do it. You know what? There's one thing that I've learned is that people hate you no matter what you're doing. So the best you can do is do something that you love yourself. Um, and yeah, I guess that's what I'd say.
That was a great answer.
And don't stop wearing a hat.
I love your hat, by the way.
Thank you. I actually
hat.
have 20 hats that look exactly the same.
I mean, so set your sails as a hat band now.
I like.
What was that?
I said set your sails as a hat band now.
Yeah.
I saw Opeth right before lockdown in 2020. It was one of the last shows that and he came out like with the wide brimmed hat and everything. Michael Ackerfeld did, and he goes, "Well, I guess we are a hat band now." And then they just go into like playing their stuff. Like, fuck yeah! All right, so add Set Your Sails to that as well. Set Your Sails Opeth tour. Make it happen, Cori.
Yeah, okay, I will add that to my list when I start my tour company.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Cori, do you have anything else for Jules? Any follow-ups?
I have my final question. Do you have any other questions before I ask my final question?
The only question, this is a softball one, Jules, because there are probably the answer is probably everything, but I wanted to ask it anyway. The new record's coming out on Friday, so people are going to be listening to it. You're going to hopefully be touring sometime soon, getting all that out there. More press, more exposure. What when this record released, what do you think is the thing that you are most looking forward about that fact and the record being out in the world?
As I already said, my personal goal for the record would be that at least one person out there will feel understood and can relate to the lyrics. This would honestly be my only personal goal that I have for this record. And I mean, we're so stoked to finally go on tour. I mean, we haven't been touring for 2 years now. This is insane. And we're really looking forward to jump on tour with NSOK and Future Palace, hopefully, and promote the record. Just go and play, because you know what? We're a live band, and everything else is really really torturing us because we just want to play. And yeah, I really hope that the tour would take place and we can promote the record as it deserves. Yeah, really hope for that.
And we are crossing our fingers over here. The combined power of the three of us.
Yes.
I think I can do this weird thing where I can cross all of my fingers.
Holy shit! What is that?
Well, you got to cross your
Hold on.
Yeah, you got to get them all in there.
Now we're just flashing gang signs up here, Cori. What are we doing?
The Knotfest gang. Literally, look.
Yeah, there you go.
Nuts.
Wait, I got it. Wait, we can do it. All right, all of our fingers are crossed.
Hey, yes. If you can do this with your toes, then I'm really impressed.
No, I can't. I can't.
I can on one of my feet. I have long toes, though.
All right, you don't have to prove it now. We can do this afterwards.
We'll get together and just do weird stuff on a chat. Yeah,
this is not an only feet account, everybody. We're not going to be showing our feet and crossing our toes up here online. No way.
We can open the second channel for that.
Open a second channel, yeah.
Knotfest Toe official room.
All right, Cori, I'll leave you with the last question.
All right, the best question, the important question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh.
I know, it's like the hardest question you're ever going to be asked.
Is this the first one of this year? I can't remember, Cori, because we need to start a log.
It is.
If it is. All right, I'm going to write this one down.
Oh, man, I've been asked this so many times. Now, to being able to answer that, I have to know all of the names. Actually, the only name that I can recall now is the T-Rex. Probably because it can do this. Could it do that? I don't know. Maybe it could.
It had those tiny little arms. I mean, probably be.
Right. It could probably cross the two ones, right?
Yeah.
The screenshots from this chat are going to be weird.
The screenshots from this one are going to be so weird.
So I'm going to go with the cross-fingered dinosaur. T-Rex. Cross-fingered T-Rex.
That's a good answer.
I'm
a fan of the T-Rex.
T-Rex is a classic for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if I was cutting you off. Sorry, the Zoom silence. The Zoom pause.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was cutting you off. I actually forgot what I wanted to say. No, whatever.
That happens to me all the time.
I still have the picture of the cross-fingered T-Rex in my head, so you know,
You're gonna dream about that tonight when you go to bed. Just
hundred
T-Rexes haunting your
percent.
dreams.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Jules, it has been fantastic talking to you. Thank you for coming on
Yeah.
our humble little show. Y'all, Nightfall by Set Your Sails is out this Friday via Napalm Records. Go pick it up. Go see them on tour if you are in the Europe or in the
In the
UK, in the Europe, you know, just the single Europe, the one Europe. And yeah, I hope congratulations on releasing this album, 2 years in the making. Happy for y'all, and I really, really hope that you guys can get out and tour and just slaughter audiences all across the world as a way of just getting out there and getting back into the world again.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you guys. It was a pleasure. It was so much fun talking to you guys. Thank you so much for having us.